Hey guys, welcome to another Naked Gospel Dispatch. We've done a few dispatches in the past talking about celebrities who fight porn or speak out against it. So recently, Billie Eilish spoke out against pornography and the use of pornography in her life. It's on a Howard Stern show, which has some irony for me, but Kale's joining me today. Kale, for those who might not know, who is Billie Eilish?
Yeah, so Billie Eilish is 19 years old, which is crazy. She's very young, but she's probably one of the biggest pop stars alive right now, maybe one of the biggest pop stars ever. She has already won 8 Grammys for her music, which she does with her brother, and she has spoken a lot about the body, a lot about covering her body, and now she's actually tying some of those like fashion statements that she has back to pornography, which Shane will tell you a little bit more about now.
Right. So she's being interviewed by Howard Stern, and she starts talking about the impact of pornography on her life. Apparently, she started watching porn when she was 11, and she talks a great length during the interview about how the visualizations of pornography taught her what was expected in sex. It was her sex ed, like it's been for so many of us. I personally find it comical that a lot of the tabloids currently that are picking up on this interview are kind of freaking out at the idea that she started watching porn when she was 11, or she was exposed to it and thus started watching when she was 11. Kel, do you know the stats on like when people start watching porn?
Yeah, I mean, the stats say that somewhere between 8 and 12 is the average. So the fact that she encountered it at 11 is on the back end of average. And just take some anecdotal experience and ask anybody that you know when they first looked at porn, and it's probably going to be around that age. And so, as Shane pointed out, the fact that the tabloids are like making it a big deal that it was like 11 years old, like that's some sort of anomaly and she's been exposed to something at such a young age. Yes, it is terrible, but it's the norm.
Or even vilifying her for starting to watch porn at 11 as though she was like particularly deviant.
Yeah, when it's like, no, that was all of us.
Yeah.
Like we grew up with phones.
I think I got exposed to porn, or got exposed. It's so weird because it is something that like happens to you and then something you then embrace. So like I was probably exposed when I was like 8 or 9 and then started pursuing it probably around 9 or 10. So I guess I've got Billie Eilish beat when it comes to deviant conduct, but I really do appreciate her talking about how much it's impacted her expectations for sex. I am recently married, and that's been a big part of my journey with Kaylee in the first 8 months of marriage, is like kind of unlearning or relearning what it looks like to give and to go into sex expecting to give, whereas like porn and lust by nature is taking. It's always about taking. So I appreciated just her thoughts there. Supposed to be she says I thought that's what I was supposed to be attracted to, and I'm so angry that porn is so loved, which I share her sentiment. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, I think what she's referring to is I thought that's what I was supposed to be attracted to. There are things that happen in porn that, as she says, are not good. And so I think there's a statistic out there that says 88% of scenes in pornography are like depict a scene of violence. And out of those 88% of videos, the vast majority are violence towards women. And then one of the worst parts about that is I don't remember the second statistic exactly, but I think it's over 90% of that 88% of scenes that are violent show the woman then either accepting the violence with pleasure or accepting the violence with a kind of non-response. But it's never a response of like, don't do that. This is bad. This is not pleasurable. This sucks. And so I think, Billie Eilish is speaking into that. Even with her sexual experiences, she's wondering why she's not attracted to those things because porn has told her she's supposed to. Yeah, which is highly malformative and destructive.
No, I think that's good because Pornhub, I don't remember the exact number. It was like 220 million videos that they took down earlier this year because they were getting so much flack from culture and society. And they did a survey, and like 220 million of their videos were like abusive or exploitative or like the age. So like children involved, like women being abused, those sorts of things. the volume of the films that they had to take down because of it. I was also thinking too, so there's this part where she says, I was so angry at myself for thinking that it was okay, talking about porn. She said, the way that vaginas look in porn is effing crazy. No vagina looks like that. Women's bodies don't look like that. We don't come like that. I appreciated that. I was reading Sam Albury's book, and he was talking about, like 50 years ago, the most attractive person that you'd come across might be like somebody from like the town over, or some like like somebody in your town. And then there were magazines, so like maybe a magazine. But today we airbrush everything. We digitally spruce up the imaging. And so what we're competing with isn't like the most attractive person in town, but the kind of the most attractive person that we can imagine, like that our imaginations can dream up and think up with the technology that we have. And then I remember Sheila Gregoire talking about how, like, during vaginal sex, 97% of men orgasm, and something like 46% of women orgasm. And so her knowing these expectations and then going into sex that way and then being so disillusioned makes total sense because of the way that sex is presented in porn, the abuse, the lack of female pleasure, but like the representation that is pleasurable, as you just said, like the 88% is crazy.
Yeah, and I mean even the orgasm gap between male and female, that's driven by porn because it's a porn video always finishes with the male coming, with the male finishing. And so, even that false expectation is fueled by pornography.
Yeah, it's gnarly. We could probably talk on that for a while. So Billie Eilish, she says, I think it's really destroyed my brain, and I feel incredibly devastated that I was exposed to so much porn. As a woman, I think porn is a disgrace. So first off, yes, it does destroy your brain. It doesn't destroy it, but it messes with the gray matter in your brain, so it actually does make us it makes us dumber. I feel devastated that I was exposed to so much porn, and I think it was a disgrace. I share the sentiment, honestly. Like, I still, even with the distance that I have from porn, I still feel its allure in my life. It calling out to me in moments of loneliness or when my wife doesn't understand me, those sorts of things. And I think it is disgraceful. I think it's disgusting, and I hate that I personally was exposed to it and that I have a relationship with it, however distant that relationship might be.
Yeah, and I think what is cool about Billie Eilish's story is I think there has to be some level of distance from porn before you can have a viscerally angry response to it. Otherwise, you're going to have a response of shame because it is something that you still actively have a relationship with, and you might feel embarrassed by that, or you might feel totally empowered by that, whatever it is that your relationship with porn might bring. I think there's a distance that has to happen before you can feel anger over the injustice that porn brings, both to the one exposed, to the people that are depicted in the scenes, and all sorts of stuff. So I think that is kind of cool. Even in Eilish's story, there's probably some distance that she's been able to garner from pornography, which is allowing her to then look at it rightly and say, oh no, this is devastating and disgraceful and disgusting, which is cool.
It is really cool. It is really cool. Okay. I always like to ask the question, how does the gospel speak into a situation like this? I really love that Jesus' nakedness on the cross speaks into our nakedness and our shame. I really love it when people intuitively discover their own value and see their own value and start speaking out about their value. So I love what Billie is doing. I like her name, Billie Eilish. It's just fun to say. But I love. So we did a video on Orlando Bloom, and Orlando Bloom was noticing that his relationships with women were jacked up, and so he stopped dating for 6 months. He practiced abstinence for 6 months and didn't watch porn, and it totally recalibrated and readjusted how he approached women, and he was able to view them as female friends and not just as objects to pursue for sex and pleasure. So I really love when people who are famous, from celebrities, start discovering just really beautiful, dignifying truth. So the gospel that I see in this is Jesus' naked body redeeming our naked body and our shame, as Cale was talking about earlier. A lot of times it's hard to talk about this initially because it is so shameful. We don't mean to be glib about it. We just don't want to be shy about talking about it either. Final thoughts, Cale?
Reach out if you need help.
Yeah,
we're here for you.
For sure. Yeah, we'll have resources down below if you need help. Shout out to Billie Eilish. Congratulations. Thank you for speaking out about this stuff. It's really important. If you liked this video, actually hit the like button and subscribe. Continue to track with us. Grateful for all of you, and we will catch you next time on The Naked Gospel. Yep. Peace.
See you later. Goodbye.